everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing the Taylor Swift book tag. So I feel like everyone has done this tag and I haven't done it yet, so I decided to do it. And I'm not sure who the original creator is because when I went to go and click the link on someone's video for it, it said that it was like the video was deleted. So I don't know who the original creator is, and I wasn't really tagged by anyone, but I'm doing it anyways. So let's get into it. Number 1 is We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, and for this one you are to pick a book series that you thought you were in love with, but then you wanted to break up with. So for this one I chose the Immortal series by Alison Noel. The first one is Evermore, and I read Evermore and Blue Moon way back in the day, probably like grade 7 or 8, something like that, so like 6 years ago, something like that, 6 or 7 years ago. That's a long time. And I loved them because I really liked Alison Noel because I was kind of into that stuff at the time, but then they just kept on going and they kept on getting cheesy, and I felt like they were exactly like Twilight, so it was done, it was over, bye. Number 2 is Red, and this one you pick a book with red on the cover. So I chose Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. It's very red. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to eventually. Number 3 is The Best Day, and for this one you are supposed to pick a book that makes you feel nostalgic. So for this one I chose The Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I remember, I haven't read the book yet, but I remember watching the movie as a kid all the time, so just the title just makes me go back to the good old days when I would just watch this movie, and it was great. I loved it. It made me sad, but I loved it. Number 4 is Love Story, and for this one you are to pick a book with forbidden love in it. So I chose Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi. This book definitely has forbidden love in it. It has an outsider, and I don't know what the other people are called, but yeah, I didn't like this book too much. I gave it like 3 stars, but it has forbidden love in it, so that's my answer. Number 5 is I Knew You Were Trouble, and for this one you are to pick a bad character that you couldn't help but love, and for this one I chose Warner from the Shatter Me series, specifically in Ignite Me, and I'm pretty sure that's a very typical answer to this question, but he's supposed to be a bad person, but he's just, you love him, you gotta love him. Number 6 is Innocent, and you are to pick a book that someone ruined the ending for. So I chose the Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han. I kind of spoiled myself. I went on Goodreads to put the other books for my want to read, and it's like bolded. The very first sentence says what happened in the previous book. So I spoiled the entire trilogy for myself. I'm very mad about it because I wanted to continue, but now I don't know if I will. I don't want to talk about it. Number 7 is Everything Has Changed, and for this one you are to choose a character who goes through extensive character development. So I chose Percy Jackson from the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series by Rick Riordan. So from the first book to the final book, which I just finished recently and loved, he goes through a lot of like growing up. You can really see him growing up, and I mean, he's 12 in the first book and then he turned 16 in the last book, so I mean, obviously in 4 years he's going to change a lot, but he just, his mental state becomes braver, and he just becomes basically a true Olympian, which I think is a very great thing for this series. It's great. I love Percy. He's still sassy, but like, he has something to back up the sass. Number 8 is You Belong With Me, and it is to pick your most anticipated book release. For this one I'm choosing the next 2 books in the Selection series by Kiera Cass. She just announced them, and I believe the next one, which is going to be called The Heir, I think, is coming out next year. I could be completely wrong, but I believe it's coming out then, so I am definitely very, very excited for those books. Number 9 is Forever and Always, and for this you pick your favorite book couple. So I have so many favorite book couples, but for this one I'm going to go with the typical Hazel and Augustus from the Fault in Our Stars series. I don't feel like taking the book down because it's on its own shelf, and it's a very high shelf, so yeah, you know. Number 10 is Come Back, Be Here. For this one, you pick a book that you wouldn't lend out for fear of missing it too much. And I don't generally lend out my books too much. Too many things have happened. I only lend them out to like people who I know I can trust with them, and like family and stuff. But I would probably not lend out The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, which is funny because I lent it to my mom, but that's different. She's my mom. But yeah, I love this book. I just love it. This one and The Fault in Our Stars, because I read The Fault in Our Stars like all the time. They're my favorites and they're near and dear to my heart, so I would have trouble lending these out other than to my mother. That rhymed. That was great. And then there are a couple of bonus questions that I believe Kat from Katie-tastic added. And number 10 is Teardrops on My Guitar. Pick a book that made you cry a lot. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I mentioned this in my last video. I just bawled like a baby when I read this book. I was sobbing, and I don't cry often. Like in books I don't cry a lot, but I was just bawling. So definitely this one. And finally, number 11 is Shake It Off. Pick a book that you love enough to just shake off the haters. And for this one, I'm going with Allegiant by Veronica Roth. A lot of people give this book in particular, not the whole Divergent series, but this book in particular, a lot of crap because of reasons that I'm sure everyone knows, but the ending a lot of people didn't like and they're uncomfortable with because you don't see it a lot in YA. And I have a lot to say about that because of reasons. Like, I just think it was a good ending and it was the way it should have ended and I enjoyed it a lot. So I don't care what you think about this book, I still loved it and I thought it was a very good conclusion to the series. So that is all for the Taylor Swift book tag. I tag everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!